welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss the second pinnacle number in numerology. So with your second pinnacle, guys, I gave a short illustration of how long your first pinnacle goes in the first video. And that's how you pretty much calculate your second, third, and fourth, because it's just 9 years after your first one. So if, let's say if you're life path 1 and your first pinnacle is from 0 to 35, then your second pinnacle would go from 35 to 44. Then the same point goes for every other life path from there. So today we're going to discuss all the numbers that are sequentially in the second pinnacle, and then I'll just give you guys a short description on that. If you guys have any questions about how to calculate it or how to simply understand it more, just leave it in the comments for me. So if you have a second pinnacle and the second pinnacle illustrates that you have a 1 there, that means that you are somebody who's going to have to focus a lot on self-improvement, self-actualization, boosting your confidence, boosting your self-willpower. And the universe is going to sort of give that sort of energy to you, whether that be through other people or whether that be through circumstances or just naturally. Like the natural amount of the universe is just going to give you more energy to go about your day-to-day processes. And with that energy, you're able to actually become your own boss. You're able to become the archetypal figure of the CEO. You're able to really get into an executive position if you put your mind to it and focus on self. Number one's all about themselves. So with that time period, it's going to really be about who you are and what you want to do and how you're going to get across to doing it. So your main thing is you're going to be a very goal-oriented person in those 9 years of your second pinnacle. Okay? It's a very good one to have. The number 2 in the second pinnacle is more about bringing the glue together. So instead of focusing on the self, you're focusing on others. You're focusing on how to bring people together, how to be that glue, that fabric between the family, making sure everybody gets along, and bring forth, a very harmonious sort of environment for yourself and for others. This can also be very useful in business. I want to make sure I bring this part up. You can weaponize that, because if the universe is allowing you to be somebody who gets people together, and you know this from before, especially if you're young, you can then choose a career that's going to make you have to do something like that, whether that be in law, whether that be in counseling, therapy, the medical field. All of those things would go behind that. So even if your life path is something different, you know that your pinnacle is backing you up for that sort of career. So my recommendation would be to get into something like that so you can make a lot of money out of it as well. The next one would be number 3. This is my personal one. Number 3 in the second pinnacle just points to enhanced artistic skills again, writing, literature. You can possibly be your own boss, get wealthy off being creative, and you can definitely really use things and circumstances to your advantage. You have a lot of good luck from Jupiter, so you just want to make sure that you are inspiring other people with your natural optimism, and that you are able to make sure that you get a creative outlet of some sort. Whether you make money out of it or not is not the point, but just make sure you get a creative outlet of some point to make sure that I guess you would say that river isn't blocked, because you want to make sure that creativity is used in a constructive way and not a destructive way. All right. The next one would be the number 4 in the second pinnacle. So number 4 is all about having a conservative approach. You might be the cornerstone of your family. This points to you having a very successful financial life. And a lot of people try to say number 4 is sort of depressing or not the best. However, when I read the number 4 on so much different sites, what I see is somebody who is the cornerstone, provides stability, provides security at this time for in-laws if they're married, and also the people within their family. That means you're making money, and you need to figure out a way in which that if you understand that you're going to have a number 4 there, that maybe your partner may not be making as much as you, maybe that you are somebody who is going to provide that sort of security, whether you're a man or a woman. So when you see that 4 in the second pinnacle, don't just sigh and say it's depressing. Use it to your advantage. Understand that you're going to have to be that cornerstone, yes, but become the most powerful version of yourself so you can adapt to that sort of lifestyle, where you're going to be the breadwinner. You're going to be the person that has the stronger personality. You're going to be the person that can really ground people's energy and make sure it's utilized in a constructive sort of way. You're going to be the leader. And that's the thing. If you're the hardest worker, you're bearing the most responsibility. As default, you become the leader. And just make sure you do not forget that. If I can illustrate a lot more on this one. It's a very special one. If you guys do have this, leave a comment for me, and I want to know your life path expression number as well, and I'll add on to it for sure. For number 5 deals with freedom. Now, when I go over number 5 in numerology, typically it's all about Mercury and good luck, blah, blah, blah. When it comes up as a pinnacle number, it means it restricts your freedom, and it means it restricts your sense of liberty, sense of self. So what you need to particularly watch out for is maybe being restrained by others to not get in going for your wildest dreams. Make sure that you're not being restrained by your own addictions and lack of discipline. My recommendation to utilize Pinnacle number 5 completely is really practicing discipline, self-awareness, and just making sure that nobody's able to restrict you by making sure that you set clear boundaries for yourself. The next one I want to cover would be the number 6. So if you have second Pinnacle number 6, this is going to point a lot to the family life. This will go towards more so you're probably getting married at this point. This will be a very big approach to changing your sort of living environment, whether that be from living at home to moving out, or living on your own to being conjoining with somebody else, whether that be through common law or marriage. We're in the 20s, so anything could happen in that respect. But there is going to be a difference in your immediate environment that the 6 is going to bring. And usually that's a positive thing. It's warmth. It's more a harmonious relationship. And if you're not in that harmonious relationship, I need you guys to understand that a divorce could happen in this Pinnacle as well. You could be broken up. So what you want to do is kind of roll with the punches. If you see negative things happening in this Pinnacle, understand that it's bringing you to a positive thing. If positive things are already happening in this Pinnacle, then great, just follow it. Like the number 2, the number 6 deals a lot with harmonization of people. So I would recommend things like therapy, counseling. I only point to those for 2 and 6 because I don't really want to bring career options to the other ones so much. But with this one, I have to bring it up just because you have such a potential to make money off of healing. People always have different traditional issues in their marriages and so forth. So if you want to capitalize on that, I'd say be my guest and do it. If I had it there, I definitely would look into those type of ventures. Moving on though, the number 7 is all about specialization. So number 7 is usually represented by K2, or what we call Neptune on the western side. But it doesn't really have much to do with spiritualization as much as it has to do with being in touch with your specialty. You want to make sure that you are a specialist in something, that you are mastering something when you have it in the second Pinnacle. The reason being is the number 7 is a very focused number. It's a very zealotry sort of vibe that it has. So you want to make sure that you are going towards that sort of direction. Whether you have a passion, an obsession, something that you can make you money, doesn't make you money, make sure that you're specializing in something, have specialized knowledge on things, because these things are going to surprisingly make you a lot of money and you're going to be able to capitalize on them in the future, especially during this Pinnacle. Number 7 is very good to have in the second Pinnacle just because it does force you to master things, and through mastering things you end up becoming better at other things in the sequence of that. So it's very positive as long as you're willing to learn, you have an open mind, and you're willing to actually focus and stay pinpoint on one thing for a long duration of time. Things will actually work out and fall into place for you. The number 8, very, very positive number 8 here, guys. When you have second Pinnacle number 8, that means that you're going to make a lot of money. It means you're going to be very materially successful. There will be hiccups along the way. Saturn makes sure of that. But you will have a lot of energy to go through those challenges, use them as stepping stones, and Saturn makes sure of that as well. As long as you remain disciplined, practice self-awareness, remain humble, you can see riches and fame when you have number 8 as that Pinnacle there, for sure, 100%, especially because it's the second half of your life. The number 8 usually gives a lot of its rewards at that point. Moving on, number 9. Number 9 is very ideological. Number 9 means that you're going to be tied to some sort of purpose, some sort of destiny, and it means that you neurologically you want to do it. You consciously know that you have to get something done, and it's going to be bigger than your own ego. So as long as you accept that, the rest of it will be kind of a cakewalk. It's just more of, you have to understand what's going to be more than yourself, more than your ego, more than money, and then go after that said purpose. But number 9 is a very big one to have in the second Pinnacle. It means that you're going to go after something that's going to leave behind a legacy and something that's going to be remembered for generations to come. All right, and I just want to go over a couple of the master numbers, 11 and 22. So with 11, what we have is somebody who might feel like when you go into an 11 Pinnacle, it's rough. Because the 11 is such a strong energy that you might feel like you're not in control of your life. Things like losing a job, losing relationships, losing family. All of these things can come with an 11 Pinnacle, and it sounds sort of negative, but it's not. What it does is it kind of predetermines a destiny for you that you have to follow. And if you're not in line with that, it will cause negativity and shift you into what you need to be going towards. And these things are usually in the artistic, creative realms, just like with the 3. But the 11 is a lot more aggressive, and the 11 can have a lot more of an impact on the world as a whole than even in comparison to the 3, which I have in the second pinnacle. But the 11 is very, very powerful, and it can definitely bring you a lot of power, authority in your future if you just kind of go with the current. My recommendation here is to go with life and not fight it. Accept your circumstances and then adapt to them, because that's what the 11 wants you to do, is be more like the water. The final number that I want to go over is just the master number 22. So the 22 has just a lot to deal with when it comes to learning from your first pinnacle, all the details and aspects and the lessons that you learned from the first part of your life. The first pinnacle usually goes from 0 to about 28 to 35. I think the earliest one would be 27. But what you're going to do is you're going to learn from everything that you've been through in the first part of your life, and you're going to use this to accomplish what's necessary in the second pinnacle. The 22 gives a very high probability of you becoming very rich and successful, as long as you actually use the energy correctly. The only other number that gives you the same amount of riches would be the number 8. The other numbers can definitely provide riches, but I'm saying the highest probability of it falls under the number 8 and the number 22. The other numbers have more of a different impact with different energies, but it still gives you success as well. How to calculate the second pinnacle in general, guys, I'm not sure if I brought this up, would be to use your birth date, meaning if you are born May 25th, 1994, that's me. I am using 25, 2 plus 5 equals 7. I'm adding 1994, which equals 23, which would equal 5. 5 plus 7 gives me 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So my second pinnacle is number 3. All right. So that should finalize the video, guys. If you guys do have any questions whatsoever, just please let me know in the comments. Aside from that, guys, please like, subscribe. Holla me for today, guys. Peace.